Welcome to the Safe Wheel live stream where I share my real P&L on 3 accounts and teach my proprietary Safe Wheel options trade system for free. Currently, the system is down 3.1%. And this is going to be interesting today. The market is, the VIX went from like 20 to 30 in like 2 days. So a lot of premium sellers are getting hurt pretty bad. But let me move forward here. Please type in the chat that you can hear me. Make sure that I can see that. And want to make sure that my microphone's working okay. Also, post any questions you might have. That way I can get to those questions before the end of the broadcast. I don't like to end the broadcast and then not answer all the questions that are out there. Okay, so I still don't see that anyone can hear me. Volume's good. Okay, good. Thanks. Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of a delay. So, all right, I'm going to get into the earnings edge. And you guys obviously, you might have questions with the market being down. There's a lot, like I said, there's a lot of premium sellers that are getting beat up today, or, they're getting beaten up over the last couple of days. All right, so as far as the earnings edge, what did I do last week? Last week we went with Adobe, and you can see here I made $60. I'm just going to call that a break even. There's a few of my students who held on a little bit longer and made pretty good money, $500,000. But most of us probably got out early when I did and just kind of broke even. So Adobe was more of a break even. With the earnings edge, my overall record is 27 wins, 15 losses, and 5 break-evens. With my new exit criteria, I am 6 wins, 7 losses, and 2 break-evens. My average loss is $402, and my average win is $742. And in 2022, it did 63%, and that includes commissions, but does not include fees of the alert service. And then if you do include the fees of the alert service, it's about 28%. And then for 2023 so far, we're down 23%. So we're seeing some volatility in this system here. You can see the P&L started with $5,000 back in January 2022. So we're still up. And there you have it for the earnings edge. Now, if you're interested in the earnings edge, there's a link in the description for the product, which is a alert service. All right, let's get into the next. I have, again, 3 accounts that I take care of. So the third account is the Premier Level 5. Okay. So you can see here, today we're getting some drawdown, but it's not really significant, I think. So on Friday, we had kind of like a bad tick at the end of the day. So I knew coming in today we were going to have a high drawdown number, even though technically it's not really a real number, because at the end of Friday last week, the number wasn't realistic on the high side. So I kind of knew, I saw this coming. But really the main thing is, what's our P&L? So we started this year with 33,583. Now we're at what, 34.5, 34.6. In 2022, this thing did 15% annualized with only about a 4% drawdown. Now, and my record here with this particular trade is 17 wins, 2 losses, and 5 break-evens. And we currently have 2 open trades. We put on a trade on Friday. So again, comparing to the S&P in 2022, it was down 20%. So we did 15 with this system. So vastly outperformed. Currently right now we're up around, it's probably close to 5%. And with the markets actually up maybe a 0.5% year to date. So we're again vastly outperforming the market, being up, beating the market by around 5% with this system. And it's only been 3 months, but we are outperforming the market again. Early on, we were not outperforming the market, but eventually the market kind of makes its move sideways or down, and then that's when we kind of catch up. So overall, this system's doing well. Again, link in the description for this one. This one, I recommend that you have at least $30,000. This is kind of more of a larger accounts, and it's when you want to get more conservative. All right, let's get into the safe wheel. I think that's what you're all here for. And what happened? So Uber is down significantly, almost $30, as you can see. Bought the $34 put, so the $34 strike. So I think Uber was around like $36 last week. So it's down, I don't know, what's 6 divided by 30? It's down pretty good. Let's call it $5. 5 divided by 30. I mean, it's down like 16% this week, which is pretty significant. And if you were running that traditional wheel strategy with this, you'd be down 16% or something around there, 10 to 15%. But we're not really down. Let's see. Looking at the safe wheel course, last year 2022 did 21.7% with the largest drawdown of 4.8%, comparing that to the S&P, which down 20. And then this year we're down about 3.1% with the market up about a half. So we're underperforming the market, but I think we're down maybe 1% this week, as opposed to if you're doing that traditional wheel, you'd be down somewhere between 10 to 15% this week. So this is where the safe wheel comes in handy. Now, what am I going to do? I'm going to look at first of all, I got assigned 100 shares. Okay, so I'm now in the position, right? I can't just leave Uber and go to a different stock or anything like that, because I'm in Uber with 100 shares. And I also have my put hedge, which is protecting me. So you can see they're kind of moving together. So you see down $60 today, up $67 today. So the hedge is doing its job. But the problem with the hedge is that it's got 95 days left to expiration. Once we get under 100 days, I don't like this hedge because it depreciates too fast. And I don't want something that depreciates fast. So I'm going to need to roll this. Now, this is kind of an interesting scenario. I don't know if we've been in this scenario before, where I'm rolling it, but I'm also in the stock. Because typically, if I was not in the stock and I rolled it, I would look at the price of the stock and I would determine where I was going to roll this to, what strike I would choose based on the price. But I'm in Uber already. So I'm not going to roll this based on the price of Uber. I'm going to roll it to the same strike that I was in before. I need this same hedge, this same strike hedge that I had before. Why? Because I'm in Uber already. The fact that I'm in this thing, I need to stay with this strike. So I'm going to roll this out to a further days in trade. So that's the first thing I'm going to do, is take care of my put hedge. And then I'll go on with the traditional wheel at that point. So let's go in here. So this is the one I'm going to roll, you can see. And I'm going to go into the 186. So this one here, I'm going to sell it. Let's look at something real quick. You can see that I bought it for $1.48. Now it's worth $1.80. So this hedge actually did make me money overall. Okay, so it's something to look at. So I'm going to sell this, but I'm going to create rolling order. So let me do it a different way. I'll go right here. And I'm going to right click and I'm going to hit create rolling order. Okay. So I'm going to sell the June 16. And I'm going to buy the September. Let's see if that's the one I want. Yes, the September. Let's double check that. Let's double check that. Let's take this. Yeah, the September. Okay, so I want to sell the 16th of June. Sell it minus, and buy the 15th. Buy it plus. It's going to cost me a debit. I'm going further out in time. As you can see here, the volatility, because some people would say you don't want to buy this put hedge when the market's going down and the volatility is really high and everything. Yeah, you have a point, but here's the thing. I'm going to go from the volatility of 55, so I'm selling this higher volatility and buying the 52. I'm buying the lesser volatility. So I'm actually selling the more expensive and buying the cheaper when it comes to volatility. Okay, so let's go ahead and make this trade. I want to pay as little as possible, so I'll start with 80 cents here. We'll see. I probably won't fill, but I'll move my order. Okay. Just move it up a little bit. I want to make sure I get the best price possible, so I'll just kind of play with it a little bit. There's my mid price. Let's see if it fills that mid price. Okay, no. Okay. Okay, it's not giving me that. I got to pay a little above mid, because these aren't quite as liquid, being far out in time. So it's not out of the ordinary to pay a little higher than mid price. Okay, so it looks like fill at 86. All right. So here I am, got my put, got the correct put hedge on. This one's not going to depreciate as fast. Probably won't go up as fast either. But okay, so now I have this 100 shares. So what do I want to do? Well, I'm in at 34. So I want to try to sell something out of the money, or at least at the money, at the 34 strike, to see if I can get any premium for this covered call that I'm in, right? Because I own shares. Now I'm going to sell a covered call. So let's get... So I'm going to be in the nearest expiration cycle. I'm going to be on the calls and 34. So I can't get anything, right? I want to try to get at least, 34 cents. Can't get it. So I'm not going to sell that. What am I going to do? I'm going to start another cycle. So I only do 2 cycles, so I am hedged, but I am going to add risk to the position. I've got $4,300 worth of buying power. I've got plenty of buying power. So it's just a question of which strike am I going to choose. I like the 29.50. Got really good premium there, and it's out of the money. So I'm going to go ahead and sell that one. See what I can get. 58 cents maybe. Try 59. And I'm going to start over. So I'm starting a second tier. So this is tier number 2. Selling a put, starting this whole thing over. Okay, so it looks like I got 59. All right, so here I am. Basically starting the wheel over. And I'm kind of, I guess you can call it, stuck in this 34 strike. But, I'm not too stuck because I have a hedge protecting me. Now I'm going to buy a put to protect the, I'm going to buy a call to protect this hedge. Just a $5 call. $5 or $6. So it looks like the 34.50 call. So I'm going to buy that, try to give her $5. This is just to protect my hedge in case the Uber just goes up like crazy, up to 40 or 45 or something. Hedging my hedge. I might have to pay $6. Okay, so there I am. Got everything I want on. I collected some premium for the week, and maybe we'll get to keep all of it. And maybe Uber will continue to go down, and the put hedge will pay out handsomely, much more than what it will cost me. Or maybe Uber will go back up and recover the losses from this strike. And that's typically how this system makes money. When I didn't sell a call here and maybe it goes above $34, those types of scenarios. Okay, so I think I've got everything pretty much done with the safe wheel for the week. Let me check my notes. Oh, also there is available in the description, you can get access to the safe wheel flowchart and how I pick the right stock. And it's available there, and a link in the description for only $89. So this whole system's available for $89. Something that did 21% when the market was down 20%. Pretty good system. Okay, so link in the description there. Also for the Premier Level 5, obviously, there's a link in the description. You can see how well that's doing, even with the market down significantly, the VIX up, still holding in there strong. Okay, doing quite well. Okay, so let's see here. Oh, also don't forget to follow me on Twitter at CarlDom, and hit the like and subscribe button. That really helps out the channel. I appreciate that a lot, especially hit that like button. It's not too hard to do. It really helps out. All right, so let's get into some questions here. All right, you can hear me good. Rye says a slow day. I wouldn't call this a slow day. Let's see what Will says. Premium sellers are getting hurt bad. Oh, I cut out. Okay. What was I talking about? Well, when the VIX goes from like 20 to 30 in 2 days, a lot of premium sellers are getting hurt. In other words, their P&L is dropping significantly, and some of them might even get margin called, or they might have to be forced out of their positions, or they might see so much pain that they get out and take losses. A lot of that's happening. So maybe if you go across YouTube with other instructors, take a look and see how they're doing. You might see that they're hurting a little bit. That's what I mean by that. Premium sellers might be getting hurt. Okay, Mark hears me. Thank you. Steve-O. Sorry, watching video of people driving their G-Wagons to stand in line to get the bank from... Okay, so my take on that is, first of all, you can go to Weiss. If you go to my Twitter, you'll get the link. It's Weiss ratings, and you can see your particular bank that you're dealing with, and you can see what kind of rating they have. I'm assuming that these other banks that are going down had the little F rating, really bad rating, as far as liquidity and everything, and they're on the verge. And I looked at my bank. I use a local, smaller bank, a regional bank, and they're at an A+. So I'm not worried about anything. Also, the second thing I would say about that is if you get in with the big five, I think it's 5 or 6, I don't know. What is it? Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, all those, the big boys. That's where everybody thinks they should go. But the problem with that is when the Dodd-Frank legislation passed, I don't know what it was, 10 or 15 years ago, they made a new rule for those big boy banks to where they can do bail-ins. Okay, remember we had a bailout in 2008 and the taxpayers paid for the deficit of the banks? Well, now whoever has their money deposited with the bank is going to be paying for the deficit of the bank because it's a bail-in. And that's only for the big boys, the big banks. That's why I have my money with a regional bank. Now, I'm not an expert on this by any means, but those are my kind of two takeaways. Check out your particular bank rating on Weiss ratings. And I don't have my money with the big banks because I'm not going to get bailed in. Those are my two takeaways on that subject. Okay. So here, Kevin, good morning. Good morning. Tron, how are you computing the return for individual safe wheel positions? Individual. So I don't really, what do you mean by that? So I don't really do the individual positions per se. What I do is I kind of, what I like to do is just go to the account thing here, say, okay, I'm down $179 on Uber, and there's my calculation. So maybe be a little more clear on that. There might be a place in the flow chart where I do an individual calculation that I can't think of right now. Okay, should we do a flow chart update based on this new scenario? Yeah, probably. The new scenario is you're in the stock and the put hedge gets too old. Let me write that down. Because, you know, it's a possibility that this happens, and I don't think it's on the flow chart. So let me write that down. Flow chart. Safe wheel. I need to update the other thing about holding a little longer too. So there's a couple changes, but I haven't really decided that that's a rule yet. I've just decided to do it the next time it happens. If you remember what I'm talking about, you get in that little sweet spot or the sour spot, and you can't really sell premium, but you don't really want to get out of the position and take a loss because it could go back up and you could win, or it could go down and you're going to win because of your put hedge. So holding into that sour spot for a couple weeks, I'm going to do that next time that happens. But I don't think it's a rule yet, right? All right. So Horatio, do you have a certain gamma value you like staying at? Do you look at controlling gamma when creating your hedging system? Okay, so I'm assuming you're talking about the PL5. Because that's the only one that I really think about gamma with. So my gamma is really determined when I put on the trade structure. And after that, I look at the delta and I control the delta, which in turn controls the delta from that point. So I don't really look at gamma per se and make a decision. I look at delta and make decisions, and that affects the gamma. But the main thing about the gamma, the main way to keep the gamma flat is to have the proper trade structure in place in the beginning. Okay, when you talk about bail-ins, does that include FDIC insured funds? No, so I am talking about funds over $250,000. So let's say you had $1 million with this bank down there in Orange County or wherever it is. You're going to get your 250 back, but then you have 750 at risk, and you might have to take a haircut with that. And maybe you only get 85% of it back, so you're going to lose like 100 grand. That's the bail-in situation. I don't know if this particular the banks that are going down now that are regional, if the bail-in situation is going to apply. It could. We're going to find out. It's interesting. I actually have I was talking to, I'll just say a friend of mine who says that he has $1 million with that bank. And so I was talking to him about it, and he said that I told him, yeah, you're probably going to get the 250 back, but you might take a haircut on that 750. He kind of wasn't aware of it. He wasn't sure what he was going to get back out of it. But it'll be interesting to see what happens. Walter, if you're starting the safe wheel over right now, if I was starting it over right now, would I have a pick? That would take, so that's kind of the most labor intensive part of the safe wheel, actually picking a stock. And I don't have a stock in mind right now. And I did build that list, if you recall, on my other platform. So I would go back to that list, but that list is not in real time, so I don't show it here in the live stream. Um, so I'd have to like log back into my Thinkorswim from a different login, and then go into it and all that kind of stuff. I don't want to do all that live. So I guess the short answer is no, I don't. I don't. But I would be constantly building a list though. So when Uber is not ready to go, I would be, it'd be easier. Understood. Okay. Thanks, Walter. Okay. So let's take a look. I always like to, you know, market's moving quite a bit. Where's the VIX today? I don't know. I have to see here. Okay, so the market's pretty flat. The VIX is up significantly. It was at 30 earlier, so the market's kind of settled down quite a bit. Once the market settles down, then my the PL5 kind of settles in here. But again, still up around 5%. So we're not really getting hurt bad at all with the PL5. That's what it's designed to do. It's designed to be able to cushion the blow of when the volatility rises significantly, or the market's kind of going down hard, kind of cushions the blow a little bit. But I have said this before, and I need to say it again. You typically, that first leg down, the PL5 will go down with the market, but then it will recover very quickly. But even with this particular, I mean, if you want to call this a first leg, let's see here, charts. I mean, I don't think this is a significant move. What are we down? Well, it's, down 5% in a week. I mean, sometimes that's considered a crash scenario. I wouldn't call this a crash scenario, but it was getting up there. I would say a crash, you got to see that VIX over 40 is one good indication, but hitting 30 is not a crash. Now, if you're a premium seller and you're using the traditional option selling techniques or the traditional trade structures, this could be considered a crash to you, because going from 20 to 30 and selling premium in the traditional trade structures, you're getting hurt pretty bad. Okay, so that looks like we're going to wrap it up here. I don't see any more questions. One thing I like to always say in parting: if the P&L is not real, what else are they trying to conceal? I'll be back next week.